Hi, Arina.
Hi.
Today's chapter, we are going to complete class management. Okay. And the first we'll finish that and then we'll go to our professional development. That is yoga teacher credentials that I'll explain you today. So now the first, in yesterday's topic, the only one topic was left, that is class management. Okay. So basically what is that here in this chapter, I'll give you a quick summary about it. In this chapter here we'll just finish that how you need to manage your class, how you have to coordinate your class, how you have to coordinate yourself with your students, okay, with your clients. So basically if your class management is not good, if you're not managing your class in a professional way, or maybe you are not managing it in a proper way, that point of time you can't run your class, you can't function it in a proper way, right? So for that, in class management also there are so many terms, so many points are included which you need to take care of while running any business, or while you are working any, like under anyone or any studio where something, right? So the over environment which you are creating into your business, and the management which you are taking, you have a handover of it, that too you need to do it. You have to run that business in a very professional, also in very smart way, right? Like yesterday topics we have covered for the how you need to manage your time, how you have to talk with your students and your clients, in which way you need to convey the message so that they will get it also. It is not any rude or harsh language you are using, right? So here in given, you can just put it, just the first paragraph here it is given. Arina, can you just read it out? It's very simple.
This one, good classroom management.
Yes, the
Yes.
first paragraph, the chapter with there with
There's
it
a
started
photo.
no there from their own.
Good classroom management is key to teaching a great class. It's important to be respectful of your students, and it's also important to know how to handle challenging situations and mishaps that can come up during the yoga class. When something unexpected comes up, it's important for you as a teacher to know what to do so that your students stay calm, focused, and engaged.
Yeah. So basically, it means here it is given when you have what they have to say. If you are into your class, basically, if you are running your class, that point of time, there are various kind of situations and challenges you are going to face. Now, how you will handle that challenges, how you will handle that situation in very Hi Jwala.
Hello.
Jwala,
Sorry,
we are
late.
not an issue. Just we were about to start only. We have just started class management today. Our topic, the last yesterday's topic, there was only one topic that is class management. So you can open
Okay.
that topic, and then we are going to finish this topic today. So just I was explaining, Arina, that is class management all about. In the first paragraph, she said that there is written that to make a good class, to make a good manager, to make your class good in a good management way, that point of time you have to handle each and every situation very smartly and very calmly, because there are chances that you will face so many challenges while you are running a business, yoga business, or you are working somewhere. Even though if you are working as a teacher somewhere, then also you can, it's nothing like you don't have to face any challenges. You have to face in the same scenario as well. Your students, in front of your students, there can be a various kind of cross questions your students can do, your clients can do in front of you. That point of time you need to answer them, you have to deliver. You can't sit idle over there, you can't sit numb over there, right? And the questions can be with the very challenging questions, because as I said, I has informed you earlier, we all are human beings, right? It's not like we are machine, we know each and everything. We can't impart all the knowledge into ourselves, right? There is something somehow, something can be left, something we don't know, maybe we forgot. It's a natural process. Something we know but we can't deliver it at that point of time, because it is not into our mind, it is not coming into our mind. So that is not a huge mistake, but yes, how to cover that situation, how to manage that challenging situation, that is the major responsibility of a teacher and a head of any organization. So basically here given great yoga class management tips, how you can make your class, like how you can run your class in a very successful manner without interpretation of any kind of challenging situations. And the tips would be: begin and end on the time. That I have explained you yesterday also, ki when you have to start your class, for example, we always arrange our class for 1 hour, right? There you come at 1 minute late, 1 minute early, that is fine, that is okay. Even your teacher, if he or she is starting your class 1 or 2 minutes or maybe 5 minutes max late or early, that is fine. But it should not be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes delay they are starting the class, or they are not, your teacher is not only in your class, right? Students are sitting, they are just ready to take the class, but teacher is not available. That is not right. Even these are the points, it is for your teachers, because we are running, I'm teaching this course just for teacher training course, what you have to keep in your mind. But that too, you need to teach your students as well, that you have to be punctual at a certain point of time. When you are coming to take a class, your students should also be punctual there. If someone is not there, it is your responsibility to tell them in the good way, in a good manner, and with showing the good gesture, that from the next time your whole class, also you can end your class on time. If you're not ending your class on time, maybe that point of time, like sometimes it's happened that when we take a theory class, 10 or 5 minute exceeds, because we are on in the flow, I'm just explaining you, you are listening, we are not like looking on the watch, or we are not considering the time at that point of time. But each and every teacher should do that, every teachers, because the point is, if you will not manage your time itself, you students are there, they'll sit, they'll listen for 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever time you are delivering the message, they'll listen it. But if you will not you're not taking care of your time management and all, maybe your more other schedule, which this classes which you have scheduled for the whole day in the coming time, that will also they can also be disturbed, right? So it's your responsibility to take care the time which you are starting your class and the time when you are ending your class. That should always in your mind, when you have to start, how you have to start. And for example, there is a chapter, there is a vast chapter that either you can, in starting I have informed to Arena also, in many classes we were having so many chapters, there was that was so vast. So in starting only, I just inform Arena, this chapter will not complete it today, okay, it will take 2 days time. So either you can do this, you just inform them early only and prior of your class only, that this is the long chapter, it will take 2 days, so that when you will wind up your class in the same day, they'll come to know, okay, fine, this is the vast chapter, that is the reason we have wind up over here only. Now again, we'll start tomorrow with this same topic. Okay. Now, if you're not informing them, for example, and you just started your chapter, that point of time, if you're at the mid of the class, if you'll stop, or maybe 1 hour is finished and you're stopping, there you are just winding up your class. There are chances that student can ask you, they can give you a cross question, ma'am, why we are not finishing this chapter, ma'am, we want to, or sir, we want to read more, let's finish this chapter. So it's better to communicate, have a clear communication with your student at starting, because somehow if 10 or 20 students are sitting there, and if they're saying let's finish this chapter today, but you don't have time for that because you have another classes to take, you have to take there, you have to answer. If you'll answer them, no, I have other classes to take, they can answer, okay ma'am, then you should inform us earlier also. So better, if you, whatever you are conveying to your students, according to that your students are, they'll be function themselves, they'll function into their mind, they'll make themselves prepare, and then they'll come to the class. Okay. So being an end of the on the time, it includes so much things. If you talk about your classes also, if you talk about your coming if you talk about punctuality as well, it comes under that also. Okay. Now, connect with your students. That I connect with your students means it also includes so many things, because it's very important for every teacher to connect with each and every student, not only one, not only two, or not only with some people, or with naive students or the beginners. If you're thinking, if I'm thinking, suppose I'm a teacher, I'm thinking, okay, Arena is naive, she's a beginner, I have to give full attention to Arena, but I'm not giving full attention to Jwala. Why? Because she's a experienced student, she knows everything, she know how to do yoga, she knows how, what is the theory of yoga. But that is wrong. That being a teacher, that is not a justified thing which I am doing with my students, right? So if you are a teacher, your each and every student should be equal for you. You have to treat them equally, either they are experienced or they are freshers. You have to treat them equally. The way of treating the students would be different, right? Because if someone is beginner, you have to teach them in different manner. But if someone is experienced, you have to just tell them, and they'll come to know the point which you are trying to make. Okay, so this is the thing which you need to take care in your mind. And the connectivity of students would be like, you need to have, it's not like you have to be in touch with personal touch with them. You don't have to give a personal touch with any of your students. It's like if something is, I explained yesterday only, if something big is going on with your students or something, that is your responsibility to, okay, you can discuss this. But if something, it's, you have to keep each and everything very professional. Okay, if something is going, they are just entered to your class, okay fine, how are you, how was your day, fine, let's, today our topic is this, let's start, and then you can wind up your class in one or whatever time you have scheduled at your classes. So connection means, it doesn't mean that you have to you have to get in touch with their at the with their personal stuffs or their personal life. It's like you have to be in touch with them with the requirement which is very necessary, which is required with them to handle or anything. Okay, so this is the same. Now here it is given, you will get to know them better. Because yes, it's very important, because if you are a teacher, for example, you guys are teacher and you don't know your students, how come you will teach them, how come you will, because see, as a teacher you can read at a certain point of time, when you will spend 10 days 20 days with your students, you can read the body language of your students as well. Though they are not comfortable to speak, or maybe there are chances, there are various kind of students and clients. Some of them they can do the cross question, some of them they hesitate to do cross question, they keep things in their mind, they don't ask. There you need to, there you need to read the body language of your students, what they are trying to, are they comfortable, are they not comfortable, or is something running in their mind, you can ask them. Okay, you'll get a better understanding of what they are looking in for their, into their practice. Basically, if that is the same thing, if I can't explain, okay ma'am, I have to focus on downward facing dog pose, or maybe I have to focus only on my arm strength. If I can't speak that, this is the responsibility of the teacher. It's not like you will come to know, okay, Nimisha is looking for arm strengthening. No, it's like when you, when I'll be, you have to notice which part of Nimisha's body is weaker, where, what challenges she's facing with the arms, what challenges she's facing with which part of your body. So that too is the responsibility of a teacher, that you should tell them, okay, you this part is weak, you need to work with this. That point of time, your teacher, your students will also come to know, okay, my teacher is focusing, he knows, she knows where I am getting wrong, where I am weak. Okay, where I have to improve. So these are the responsibility one teacher should do always. Now next topic is get organized. Of course, always, not only in your teacher part, if you are becoming a teacher or something, being a human being, everyone should be organized in their way, right? Either the, everyone has the different, even someone is working for night shift, someone is working for day shift, someone is not working, okay, it's fine, not working, it's fine as well. But that too, each and everyone should be in the well organized way. Well organized means you should know what you are going to deliver in your class, what what are the topics today you are going to cover. Okay, fine, if today you need to tell your your studio policies to your students, in which way you are telling them, in which way you are conveying them. If you have to ask, for example, for the fee structure, you need to discuss, which is kind of very sensitive topic to talk, because people maybe they can take offensive, maybe they are not comfortable, maybe they have a lower expectation which you are asking for, or higher expectations we are, anything can be possible. So in which organized way you are delivering your messages, you are delivering your services, you are offering them everything, that it should be very well organized. It should not be like you are coming into your class, you are directly talking about the topics. No, you have to come, you have to take, you have to give your introduction, you have to take your students introduction, you have to ask, you have to do the discussion, basic general things of your classes, what are the timings, how will run our class, when will end up, how many days do we take classes. So these are the basic things every teacher should talk, because that is the mode of getting comfortable with your student as well. It's not like you have to just inform them, it's like it's a basic thing, it's a, we can say it's a basic thing, where you can be, you will make yourself comfortable with your student, and your certain point of time your student will also get comfortable with this. Now be in charge. Always remember, if you are a teacher, you are the in charge. It's not like your students voice are, you have to keep, you have to keep noticing yourself, that what is the pitch you are using into your class, right? It's not like, for example, I'm teaching you today, but my voice is not audible or not clear or not that much loud, so that you can understand what is the use of teaching. Nothing. Because if Ujwala or maybe Arena is speaking well, or their voice is more audible than me, so what is the use of that teacher, right? Maybe if if you guys are cross questioning me or any of them, then what is the use of teacher if I can't answer your question? So these are the basic major points where you will face the situation. There are high chances you will face the situation, because being a teacher, I faced so many times. And in my daily life today also, if I'm teaching, it doesn't mean if I'm an experienced teacher that I'll not face it. Because being a teacher, whole life you will face different various kinds of challenges with your clients and with your students, or maybe with other person as well. Because see, if you are a teacher, the thinking of other person would be that he's a knowledgeable person or she's a knowledgeable person, they knows everything, so why not to question you? It's like they need a suggestion also. There may be different kind of gestures as well. It's not like always you have to face the cross question situations. So these are the points which you need to take care of. If you are a teacher, you are in charge. Don't make your students in charge into your class. Don't make clients in charge into your class. Always remember, you have to command your class. No one else is there to command it. Or don't give such authorities to your students or to your clients so that they are going to command your class. Because if somehow, if you are just keeping yourself down, you're making yourself down, your voice is not good, or the way of speaking is not good, or way of showing your teaching them is not good, that point of time, your students, there are chances your students and clients where they'll see, and they'll try to command you, they'll try to correct you. That is the thing you need to notice, that no one should command my class because I'm the in charge. Okay, so make yourself accordingly. Expect the unexpected. Always remember, in your class, being a business, if you're running a business, if you are working somewhere, always make yourself prepared, you make your mind prepared, that anything, any kind of thing can be, any kind of possibilities are there which you are not prepared for. Okay, because if you're prepared, suppose if I have prepared myself today, I have to deliver class management chapter, but still it's not like I'm so much, I should be so much in confident, okay fine, I'll just prepare this, I'll deliver this and I'll go. No, there are chances that you can ask Nimisha, do one thing, please just tell me muscular respiratory system or any of the chapters which is new for me. So being a teacher, make yourself always prepare, and always just keep it in your mind that you have to always ready for unexpected things. Any time point of time, any at any place you can face that, and how you have to deal with them, you have to deal with this such situation in very calm and very smart manner. Because at being a teacher, if you at certain point of time or any point, your mind is keep running, your mind is like you are teaching someone, if you're instructing someone, even though if you're not teaching, you're not instructing, you are practicing in yourself only. So that point of, you have to use your experiences, you have to use your past experiences, maybe the things which you have learned from your students, maybe you have learned with your teacher. That is the things you need to, when you are in such situation where you have to answer someone, there you can use such experiences. Okay, now, know where you are going. Always remember where you are going, what you are teaching, where your students are coming from, what they are looking for, what are the things they are looking from your class, what are the things they are expecting from you, that you need to deliver, you need to tell them. These are the things you need to always, it's not nothing like you are coming, you know what you have to do, you don't have, it's nothing like you are just so much like into yourself that you know, okay, I have to do this, I have to tell them this, I will just make them practice this, that's it. Never do this, because if you are just coming there just for yourself, just to teach what you know, that is also not right. Always think, always see what your students are looking for. Okay, if you're looking just for yourself, if you're focusing on your mind, your techniques, your teaching methodologies, that will be a partial kind of thing. Okay, that will be only partial, because if you're not focusing on your students, if you're not asking them what you are looking for, okay, today what it is in your mind, what do you want to do you want to do different kind of asanas? If we are not, because see, it's sometimes it happens, because being a teacher, you have to make your class always creative. Because it's not like one day, every day you are teaching them the same thing, sun salutation, or the repetitively exercises, that is also not good. Don't make your class always anytime monotonous. If you'll make it, your students will get bored. Always think of something creative into your class, to introduce something creative into your class, so that your students and your clients will be interested into that. Okay, now what's new today, our teacher is going to teach. What's new today, they are going to not only teach, what's new knowledge we are going to gain today. So these are the some kind of curiosities which you students and clients should be in their mind. Because of you have to create that. Okay, lay the ground rules. Always I'll always keep them in their mind that the rules and regulation which you have set up for your studios and for your classes, that should be followed. Okay, it's not like the rules has been made, but the rules are made to broke rules are making just to broke that. No, these policies you don't have to believe in that, and don't make them believe, because if you will not follow your policies, because see the student what they look for into the class, they see that they notice that okay, the rules and regulation, 5 rules are there for my this is studio. Do these teachers or the faculties or the staff of this studio, are they following that rules or not? Are they obeying that rules or not? If not, why should have we? So if the staff, if any of your staffs or receptionist or anyone is, or maybe anyone, even your gatekeeper, if he is there or she is there, that you should always tell each and every member of your studio that the rules and regulations should be is equal to everyone. Everyone has to follow, including you, because if you will follow your rules and regulation of your studio, then only other people will do, because that is the same thing. No, if you are not managing your own house, how come the guest will come and they'll sit properly and they'll just respect in your house if you are not respecting your own stuffs? So this is the thing, you need to always lay the ground of your rules, always make the rules. Here it is given, grasp as quickly as possible the central point of the student's questions and summarize it the back to the student, ensure you got it. So these are the things basically. It means that there are chances that students will, when they'll cross question you, and you said okay, the doubt session will be in the last. Okay, for example, if I'm teaching you, I'll say first I'll explain, or whatever doubt you guys have, just note it down into your books, and that we'll discuss in our doubt session or maybe into the end of the class. But there are some students, they'll just keep asking in the middle of the sessions only. Then what you will do, you can't tell them don't ask, you can't do that. Okay, that point of time there you need to, again they're just they you set some rules that you need to be followed, but they are not doing that, they are asking it, or maybe they're interrupting somehow in any way or any reason. There you need to tell them with the very calm manner, okay fine, the question you asked, it's very good question, that will keep it in mind, and let's discuss next topic. These question might be, there are many more students which they have the same question there, they also want to ask. So we'll answer this question together. Okay, so let's have a quick discussion about the topic, right? But we'll discuss this when maybe there are, this question is and A, B, C, or whatever students they have, they are also wanted to ask. So these are the situation you need to discuss, and the way you are telling again to them that okay, again we'll discuss it after some time. These are the situations which you need to think into your mind. How will you handle the situation? There is nothing like you will find this in module or in your book that you how you have to. These are the basic thing, the basic principle which I'm telling you. But how to implement this principle into your mind and in which situation, that is you have to use it, you have to think it into your mind. Okay, assert control, that means here it is given, can you just read it out? That is the different term, Irina, assert control.
Questions sometimes indicate that you're not being clear enough. Keller says, often the deviation from the planned topic is entirely appropriate. It becomes evident that what you planned doesn't fit the general group's ability, understanding, or interest. But at other times, you'll have to guide discussion back toward the path you set, which may mean not answering questions. Young suggests, often, harnessing a rambling student is as simple as respectfully acknowledging his question and stating that the time is short and there is a lot to cover, so you can address his questions after class or wait until the end if there is extra time for everyone to share. Just like you're saying, it comes down to space and boundaries. Kaminov explains, teachers want to be open, accepting, helpful, and responsive, but the willingness to allow for that kind of space always has to be balanced by whatever boundaries you're able to set. Teachers can get sidetracked by the unwillingness to say, well, that's very interesting, but perhaps we can deal with it after class. We need to keep this class going.
And
Yes.
can you explain it?
Yes. So it's about being assertive while being respectful. So if a student keeps asking questions, we can tell them to discuss these questions at the end of the session, at the end of the class, if there's time, well, when there is more time, because at this point we need to continue the flow and the yoga session.
Same thing. That's just, I informed you the same last
Yeah.
topic around that. Don't break the rules. Don't break the conditions which you have just
Correct. Yeah.
set for that everything.
Yeah.
Because if you'll broke rules, if you will not follow your own regulations over there, how come your students and your clients follow that? They'll not do that because they'll know, okay, fine. Environment of this class is like, okay, like I'm chilling mode. Right. So let's chill. Let's do we want to do. Let's follow the rules we want to follow.
Mm.
So these kind of should not any class, any studio. Being a student, also every student should keep in mind whatever rules and parameters. If someone is not uh, following that, it doesn't mean we don't have to do that. We'll do that. Being a good student, being a good teacher and a mentor, we should always follow rules and regulation, no matter what, how hard it is, how tough it is. Okay. In the second topic, asset control means whatever. See, if you have, for example, this is one of our hour of this class. Okay, after that you have a break, and after that again you have a practical class. This is the thing, you always, you guys are daily, you are just going with that. So if I'm just delivering you the messages and this chapters, that point of time, if you'll keep asking the questions, it is but obvious that we have only 1 hour, right? At that point of time, in half an hour, I'm just answering your questions and everything. How I will complete the chapter? We can't do that. So for that also, you need to keep a, maybe you can keep your doubt sessions differently, or maybe you can tell them the whatever doubts which you have, will you can note it down. We'll have a doubt session maybe in other class, or we'll decide the date. There will have only doubts question of every chapter which we have learned so far. So these are the questions, because if you'll they'll keep asking, they'll just keep interrupting, and that point of time, if you will not manage it, you will not show your good management in that class, that you will not tell them in very proper way, okay, let's do with whatever Inia said, let's go with the flow and will not interrupt in between. Otherwise the time will pass and will not able to finish this chapter. These kind of things you need to make them understand in a very good way, with the good gesture, so that they'll not take it offensive as well. Okay. Deeper issues. While it can be frustrating for both the teacher and the student when one student takes up more than her share on the class time, it's important to treat these students with compassion and understanding too. Outside of the class, spend some time reflecting on the deeper motivation work that I just told you yesterday also. Deeper issue means there can be so much students, and with the teacher there can be problem that they are just facing with in their personal life or maybe professional life as well, but they can't. For example, if some teacher is there, they have issues with their financial crisis, or maybe they're into the loss or something, still they have to run the class, they have to run their business. That point of time, you can't bring that professional's issues or personal issue into the class. You can't discuss with your students, you can't discuss with your clients, that same. So always, if there is a deeper issues, or then that can be frustrating, and the same thing can be with the students also. They are coming from their home, their schools, their colleges, their personal life. So there can be so much challenges, problems they are facing with, and they have to come the class. They can't discuss it. If they can discuss, then it's your responsibility to handle it how you're handling it. But if they're not discussing it, it is now again it's your responsibility to understand, okay, this student is facing such problem, such issue. Now how I need to manage such things. Okay. So these are the points you should always keep in your mind, that if there is any deeper issues where you are frustrated with, or your student is frustrated with, you have to handle it in very calm manner. Okay. Maybe you can have a discussion with them directly or indirectly, whatever it feels right there in that situation. And maybe you can motivate them. It's not necessary that each every problem should be discussed. If I'm a teacher, I find, okay, Ujwala is today, she's looking tensed or something. Maybe it's not necessary that Ujwala will tell me the problem, or maybe I should ask it. It's not necessary. If I feel that she's tensed or something, indirectly also I can motivate her. Okay, let's focus on the study today. This chapter today. Don't worry, everything will be fine. This is the time that will pass. There can be many gestures you can motivate your students. You can just make them like feel like, okay, fine, let's focus in this class first, and then you can realize them, you can make them feel that, okay, fine, we are doing wrong, we should not bring our all personal steps into the class. Let's do it separately. Let's first read, let's attend our class, and then we'll go it. Again, this is your responsibility to make them realize this such situations. Okay. Now, after that, get it's not like if your student is coming into the class or into your studio, that even though you also, if you are a student, you are a teacher, you should always be like, in order to see what going into the back room, we must new students hesitately or bravely, I might add, roll out the mats, and you must leave your mats and walk. It means just the same thing. Like, if you are into the, you should not always there where you want to. Don't make your comfort zone. In short, we can say, don't make your comfort zone everywhere. For example, this is you are coming to the class, this is your favorite place, this is your favorite mat, you need to work out there only, on this mat only. No, this is not right. Always make yourself so much comfortable and compatible, so that you can adjust, you can make yourself, you can do adjustment in any environment and at any situation. Because if you will not leave your mat, you will not leave your comfort zone, you can't learn new things. And teach these things to your students as well, that always make your body so much challenging and so much strong, so that if you are in any situation, for example, that point of time, you can't leave that situation, you don't have to run out from that situation. There you need to compromise your comfort zone, come out of your comfort zone. If we talk about our personal life also, professional life also, or any point of time, being a human being, if someone is just into their comfort zone, they can't learn new things, they can't face such solid challenges, they are not prepared for any unexpectedly situations. So being a teacher, you should always prepare for unexpected things, and always you should be out of your comfort zone, then only you can teach your students to come out of that. Okay. Now, give clear, concise alignment cues. So basically here, that is the same thing. Always teach your students the proper alignment, how to make your proper alignment, proper posture, what are the techniques you need to use there to make your proper alignment. If someone is not doing that, that is your responsibility to show your gesture, your way of doing the yoga and everything. See, you always remember, being a teacher, if you have a students in your class there, you don't have to do all the yoga poses with them. No, don't do that, because there you can't. Then how you will you for example, if you are taking the classes there, and if I'm a teacher, I'm doing yoga with each and every poses with you, how will I notice that where arena is going wrong, where Ujala is going wrong? I can't notice that, right? So that is your responsibility. The way the poses, they are doing it wrong, they can't understand that. There you need to show them, okay, now you have to do it like this, you have to do it like this. Until unless, if nothing is going wrong, everything is going with flow, just notice your students where they are going wrong, then you have to correct them. And when you have to correct them, then you need to perform that poses. Okay. So never perform with your students every each and if 1 hour class is there for practice, you are only doing the practice for 1 hour. That will give a very wrong image of yours and your class studio as well. Because somehow what students what you want that your teacher should notice you where you are going wrong, where you are going right. Okay. So this is all about, you need to take care. Always offer variation, go from easy to hard and empower everyone. So all variation is something you need to keep it in your mind, not only into yoga, but like also in theory classes also. If I'll teach you, for example, we were left with some topics which were like history of yoga, and that was two little bit lengthy topics. Why they were lengthy? Because that was kind of technical thing, that was kind of historical things which I can't explain you in like in 1 minute or 2 minutes. These are the basic topics and the general topics which you follow into your daily life, that you can relate with. But that history of yoga and that technical topics which we have, you don't have a knowledge of it, you can't relate it with your own life or with the daily stuffs. So these are the things, that is the reason I decided, being a teacher, that let's go, because we went with respiratory system, muscular system. It was a bit tough, and it was a bit technical. So I thought, if again I'll go with the technical topics again, might be there are chances that can be a boring. They will not show the interest, or maybe you will show the interest, but you are physically present, but you are not showing it, because in past you have used so much of your mind, so much of your energy into that now you need something very easy and systematic. So we decided to go with the teaching methodologies, right? So there we have, and but always we here we don't have to use our so much of our mind to understand anything. That is the basic thing which we can discuss with each other as well. There you can't discuss anything, your teacher will tell you that only you need to understand. You don't have a knowledge of it, how will you discuss it? You can't do it. Here, you can cross questions, you can do cross questions, you can discuss also. Somehow I just told to Arina, okay, tell me the definition of that, tell me the meaning of that, and she did it because that was understandable to her. That was a basic thing. So that is that, I'm just giving you the same example, that always look for variations, so that your class should not be going to the should not be running into the monotonous manner. Because if it is running in the same, then ultimately the interest of your students and your client will they will lose their interest from your class. So always go for from easy to hard. Okay, because if easy something will, you will learn easy things. If you will learn yoga, some of the yoga poses which good techniques and that were easy to do, but you were not able to do it, after that you feel so much motivated and so much confident, then you are ready for next, then only you are ready for hard. But if you're going only for your hard things and you can't learn it, you can't do it, that point of time you'll feel demotivated, you will lose your interest. Okay, fine, I'm done with this, I can't do it. These are the attitudes which people show if they are, if they can't process things into their mind, right? So always, and the same thing with the yoga pose, always go for easy to hard. Don't do go directly go for hard headstand or handstand or downward facing dog pose. Yes, downward facing dog pose is also tough because everyone can't do that. So how to do that downward facing dog pose? If you're doing it wrong, go for it first. Just go for it. Maybe you'll fall down only, that is not an issue, but you will learn in this way only. Okay, so always make your mind flexible and body flexible, so that you should go with the easy to hard one. Okay, don't skim on the cool down. The great things about the challenging vinyasa flow yoga class, it is yoga class and not to cardio exercise class and or gym. So it's the same thing. Like if you are opening your yoga studio, show the yoga variations into your class, show yoga into your class. It should be indicating towards the yoga. It's not like it's you have open yoga studio, but everything going around your classes is just the gym things, gym stuffs. Don't bring treadmill there, don't bring weights there, don't bring, in spite of that you can bring props like blocks and everything which is required for yoga. So all the environment which you are setting up for yoga studio should be for yoga, not for any cardio exercise, not like it to the gym or dance class or zumba class, right? So the motive should be clear. Again, the indication and intention should be clear, that what you are running and what are the things you need to take care into your mind to run that thing very successfully and in a functional way. Okay, now keep yourself balanced. Always make yourself balanced. Don't go for, if you are thinking something right now, okay fine, I have to do this, cover this topic, but you are covering other things. No, don't do that. Make yourself balanced and teach your student to be balanced with the same way. Demonstrate and explain in detail, always like the way I am doing. It's not like I'm reading each and everything. See, there are two techniques to teach your students. Either one, you just read one each and every line and make them understand. That also you can do, that is not wrong, because people look for that. But what I'm doing is I just read the topic and I explain you, because that too I have experience for that. I have taught them in the past as well. I have either, if there is tough topic also, I don't prefer to make you read or I should read. What I do is I just explain you and I just give that a simple notes in the simple language. I give you guys the notes so that you can, if you will open that book, it's, see, easy topic, you will open your module, you will remember, okay, what we had a discussion in past for this topic. But if we have a tough topic like in respiratory system, in autonomy and everything, there you will not remember each and every topic when you will open your module. For that, it is not necessary also that you will read that definition and will come to understand. So in spite of that, what I prefer is, so write down the notes for that topic in the easy language, so that once you'll read the definition, you will go with the notes and you will understand the topic, right? So there are different kind of techniques for teaching as well, that you need to decide which. See, the end of the day, the motto will be, students should understand what you are trying to say, what you are teaching to them. That is the main thing you need to do. For that, whatever techniques you want to use, whatever way you want to use it. Until unless you will not use it, you will not implement it, you will not learn, you will not experience it, where you are going wrong and what are the other ways you need to follow. Okay, in incorporate the art of breathing. Also same, always tell them breathing is very important, how you have to implement. Because see, and earlier of the when you are beginner, when you come to learn yoga and all, you don't have any, you have a knowledge for poses and all, because that too, that is attractive. If you don't have a knowledge what are the benefits and contradictions for that, but also you know how it looks good, okay, I need to that, you get attracted. But for breathing techniques, it's nothing like you have to be you will be attracted to something, but that is very necessary that you need to understand, and you have to make your student understand that coordinating with the poses, your breathing, it's equally important. And in starting, students and clients, they don't know how to do it, even they don't feel it to do it, or they don't find it interesting, but that too, this is your responsibility to teach them. It's very important. Design your class around your students. Yes, don't design your class around yourself, always design it around your students, so that your students will, they will feel your class, yeah, it is attractive, it is interesting, I feel motivated over here. This is the place. See, like the way you feel into your home, you go everywhere, into your relations, you go everywhere, into your friend's place, and you sometimes there are situations you don't feel comfortable there, right? And when you come to your home, you feel like, okay, fine, this is my place, right? There, here I feel so much relaxed, here I feel motivation, here I can write, here I can read, here I can teach. These are the space, this is a comfortable space which every people are students or any client is looking for. So make your studio that place. Always make your studio such comfortable, with very comfortable to like in front of your students and clients, so that they are always, when they come to you into your studio or a class, they find so much peace over there, so much motivation over there, so they want to start everything there, then and there only. Okay. Commit fully to your own practice. Being a teacher, if you are not practicing your theory class or practical class, anything you are going to teach, you can't deliver it. If you are not fully prepared, you can't deliver to your student. You can deliver, you might be, you can try for that, but you can't give your best. And that too, guess what, the most important thing, your student will come to know your client, because they are not children, they are not 10th on kids. For you can make a pool of kids to them themselves, but you can't make full of your clients who are like experienced one, or even though they are beginners, but they know how you need to, how someone teach, how someone explains anything. So that too, you need to always commit to your practice. Just practice yourself first, make yourself prepared for anything, and then go and deliver anything you want. Okay. Always keep learning and continuing to evolve. Being a teacher, it's nothing like, if I'm a teacher and it's like, okay, I'm teacher, I don't want to read anything, I don't want to learn anything. No, I always think that what are the things I need to learn from Irina or Jwala or any of my students. If something is there I can learn from them, I am always ready, and I am always open for that. So being a teacher, always ready for, with anyone, any age of group. Learning is something, there is no end of learning. There is no age limit of learning. You can learn anything at any age. You can learn anything from any situation and from anyone, even from auto rickshaw and anyone. If there are chances that the way they are talking, the way they are speaking, the way sometimes the statements or the words which someone releases or speaks, that too, it is not into our mind, we can learn from them. So it's like always ready to learn anything from your students or clients, or from any situation or environment. Okay. Now, the next topic is professional development. Okay. What is that? Basically, here, see, in professional development, yoga teaching credentials. When you are taking 200 hour of certification, there was some rules and regulation for that, right? First, you just filled your forms, you submit your fees. Then after that, you are taking the classes, you are learning, you are taking theory classes, there are certain kind of procedure which you are following right now. After that, end of the day, where you will take your certification, in future, if being a yoga teacher, if someone wants to know where are you registered from, you can see there, or people can see there. So there are credential is something about when you are becoming a yoga teacher, or any kind of certification you are ready to take. There, what are the procedure, what are the steps, and what are the different kind of certifications which you can go for. Here it is given the same thing. Yoga Alliance RYTC credentially benefits. What are the benefits you can take from this certification? Here it is given that. So an internationally recognized credential that shows you have a Yoga Alliance minimum standards of yoga training. Marketing on Yoga Alliance, here it is all about like how you can, if being a yoga teacher, if you're registering yourself into Yoga Alliance, what are the benefits you will get it. First benefit, if anyone wants to know from where Irina and Jwala is certified, Are they globally certified? Are they, because today anyone can tell anyone that I'm a yoga teacher. What is the proof for that? And every educated person or anyone who's looking for good yoga teacher and like good quality of studios and everything, they do R&D. Even you, when you came to Advait Yoga, you have seen, you have done R&D before doing that. You have seen the reviews, you have seen the qualities of teachers, many more things. The way other people also do the same thing. So the benefit you will get it, you can register yourself, you can make yourself available there, you can make yourself show your potential over there, that yes, you are a certified teacher. There is nothing like you don't have a certification or something. Okay. Also if you're doing it marketing, you can use that as well. Because see, you can't do it. If I'm a person, I don't have any certification for anything, but I'm saying, okay, just because I know, I have a knowledge of it, I have 2 3 students in my colony or something, and I have teach them, I'm saying I'm a yoga teacher. And Arena and Jwala, you have taken certification for that. So there are, again, although I know many more techniques than you, but still the worth of you is not mine. Why? Because you are registered from Yoga Alliance. You can show your worth to everyone, and people will come when you're doing the marketing. If I'm doing marketing, you are doing marketing, people will come yours, because you have a same thing. You have such things which people are looking for. There is a proof for that. And see, with practically proof which you will be giving, that is something else. But in front, first you see the certification, you see your paperwork, you see what are the standards you have gone from, right? So these are the things which you can use for now. Yoga Alliance credential is, first is RYT 200 teacher training course. Now, training requirement, complete 2 hour teaching trainer RS 200, that is to 200 hours you need to complete to become a yoga teacher, 200 certified yoga teacher. Teaching requirements, none. That means there will be no there is no criteria. There was no criteria. I think when you came here for certification, there was no criteria. Okay, you have to bring such certification for 100 hour, for 50 hour, or you should be graduation done, you have a graduation with yoga. There was no such criteria. So for doing this certification, there is no criteria at all. You can come being a fresher. If there is no, like, you have in past, there was no connection of yoga, then also you can do this certification. How to maintain your registration? Abide by a code of conducts, abide by Yoga Alliance registry policy, use the yoga therapy terms, complete your continuing education requirement every 3 years, pay your annual renewal fees. These are the same thing when you get yourself registered in Yoga Alliance. So what are the policies you need to follow? You have to pay, or always you need to pay. There are annual fees, I think 3,000 or something you need to pay there. And then after every year, you need to renew that. Okay. Then you will be they'll show you that you are a registered teachers over there. Now, teachers can register UIT. Here the term condition given, that training requirement complete, the same thing it is given again. What are the teaching requirements? Has at least 1 hour of teaching. There are RYT, registered teachers course, that is the same thing here. See, if you are doing 200 YYTC, that is here, there is should be no requirement of any certification or any degree over there. Now again, here given, teachers can register as an ERYT 200. What is ERYT? That is experienced teacher. Okay. Experience, when you will register yourself and you have an experience with any, like anywhere, with the proof you have worked with anyone, that should be 100, that will be 1,000 hour. If you have worked anywhere, then you in front of your certification it is mentioned E. They show E, but that too, you should have experience. They ask for experience letters. They ask for where you have worked, what kind of experience you have shown there. Then only you can make yourself in front of your certification. You can make an experienced teacher as well. Then the condition has been given. First thing, you should be 200 hour certification should be with you, then has at least 1,000 hours of teaching experience, completing returning with otherwise. That is the same thing, 1,000 hour of experience you should have with you. Either you have worked in any studio under anyone, but that experience should be the teaching experience. Okay, you should have a teaching experience with you, and it should be 1,000 hours. Then only you can make experienced teacher in front of your certification. Has taught for at least 2 years since completing training of years. So after completing, for example, today you will complete your 200 hour of certification. After that, working with anyone for at least 2 years, then only you can we can call you, or you can be yourself as an experienced teacher training course you have done, that is by experienced teacher. To to Yoga Alliance. Not like if you are teaching yourself as, for example, if I'm teaching from last 2 hours, 2 years, and I can tell me it isn't in my mind, and I can tell anyone that I'm experienced teacher. But if I want to show it on Yoga Alliance, that I have to show my all certification or experience letter where I have worked for last 2 years. Then only they will consider it. How to maintain here your registration? Again, the same thing. You need to pay your annual fees over here. You have to follow the code of conducts which they have mentioned. The registration, you have done it. That is the complete continuing education requirement every 3 years. After every 3 years, you need to complete your continuing education requirement, whatever requirement education you are doing with, or you have a certification that after 3 years you have to show there. Again, the same thing with the 500. See, after 200, that is the advanced level of certification people do. There also that they have a different kind of modules. There's some more poses, some more actions, and some more requirements has been mentioned over there. What are the conditions they have to follow? Again, they have to register themselves into 500 yoga teacher certification. And for 500, there is a requirement you should have a 200 hour of certification. If you don't have 200 hour of teacher training certification, you can't go for 500. So for 200 there is no criteria, but for 500 there is a criteria. Okay. Now, how to maintain such registration? In every registration, see, in every doing, if you are doing with RYT, any certification goes, that registration is the same process. You have, after every year you need to renew yourself, you have to register yourself, and after you have to pay the fee, you have to show the documents and all. You have, if you are doing, if you want it to keep it like a, you want to bring yourself as an experienced teacher over there at a Yoga Alliance, you have to show your at least 2 years of experience past certification you need to submit. With the proof only, they'll consider you as a, you are experienced teacher. Without that, they only there you can show yourself as a teacher, that you are a certified teacher with Advait Yoga. But different criteria, again you need to renew yourself, again you have to show the 2 years of certification. Here the training of the requirement, if we see at the page ERYT 500, if you want to show yourself as experienced teacher, what are the criteria over here given? Training requirement: complete 500 teacher training. Either you have to complete a 500 hours of teacher training, complete 200 teacher training with same thing. Either you can complete 200 or 300 hours of teacher training. To show you as an experienced teacher, you need to complete either 200 or 300. Without that, you can't go for 500 hours of teacher training. Then here it is given, a requirement would be the same. Here it is given, has taught for at least 4 years since completing teacher training. For 200 hours, you need to show 2 years of, in past you have worked for 2 years as a teacher training, teacher mentor or anything. But if you are showing yourself as Yoga Alliance, there you need to show 4 years of your experience. That too with all documents and all experience letter. You can't, if you have registered there for 500, suppose Arena is 500 certified trainer on Yoga Alliance. I can see there on Yoga Alliance, but she can be there till the time she has she don't have any experience letter. Once she'll be having a 4 years of experience, if it is showing there on Yoga Alliance, then automatically on her certification they will show experience RYT. Okay, there you will show experience RYT. And if it is only a certified, she has taken a certification and she is running her own studio or something, then there will be only a certified teacher that has completed her certification from Advait Yoga. Okay, so these are the different kind of things. You can go yourself and register yourself on Yoga Alliance if you want that globally. If someone is searching you, you will be there. So how you, for experience, what criteria you need to follow? You need to go for experience letters. For experience, genuinely you should have a experience with for a teaching. It's not like you will make a because there are, see, if you want, people might be, they can be they're thinking that, okay, I need to just show my experience. No, I can make a certification for 2 years, for any experience letter for 2 years. No, we can't do that, because again there are criteria. They ask for some yoga poses. There are, I think you have to share your yoga poses into that. You need to send them the video of some yoga poses. So because see, it's very easy to make an experience letter if anyone's want without any having experience, right? So for that, there are also, it's not easy. They will ask to send some videos, they will give the asanas, they will send, okay, they will give some chapter, explain that. These are the things on that parameters, they'll check, they'll judge, and then only they will, you can go with the flow, you can go with the process. Okay. Now, registration with Yoga Alliance, here it is given. Here first topic was 200, either you are doing 200 or 500. How will you register yourself on Yoga Alliance? What are the criteria if you want to make yourself as experienced teacher? What are the criteria you need to follow? Here it is given how to register on Yoga Alliance. After completing teacher training course, you would need to register with Yoga Alliance on their website www.yogaalliance.org. Underline that, because after completing of the certification, you have to register yourself. It's not necessary you want to, but you should do this. You should always do that, because it's very, see, into your KRA, no, it will give a good benefit into your KRA if you're going for any business or if you're working anywhere. There are certain steps you need to follow after opening that. Create an account, assess your account. First, you need to create your account. You have to register to the yoga school. Like, for example, you have done it from Advait. So you have to create your account. You have to show that you have done it from Advait. Now, after that, you can create an account yourself, enter your basic information like email ID, name, password, phone number. And then after that, step 2, you have to submit your training program information, where you have completed your training from, right? From Advait Vega. Now there you need to register yourself. Like, for example, when you will put your school name or your certification where you have done from, there first, there also you need to register yourself. That select first from your new account dashboard, click on register now. Okay, there are certain steps given. When you'll register yourself, either you can open your book, at that point of time, when you will open the website, you will come to know step by step what you need to follow. When you register yourself anywhere, you fill up the form anywhere, there are certain steps. Next is this, next is this. So here again the same thing, but I'll explain you. Select your desired designation to show the registration requirement for that designation. So there are different kind of designation here, that you are a teacher, you are a trainer, you are a mentor, whatever you are, you have to show there. Enter your training program details, what kind of program you have done, 200, 500, with the experience or without the experience, only certification you are going to enter, or with experience and certification you are going to enter. These are the things you need to there. Then here upload the electronic copy of a certification, because of course you can't put your hard copy there. So you need to scan your certification and you have to upload it over there. There are a kind of space and size are mentioned there, 12 MB or something. On that only you need to enter that, and you have to keep it there. Now, after that, you need to send the request. There will be approval of your request first. Okay. After completing each and every procedure, after getting yourself registered there, after uploading your certification, then you need to send the request. Then Yoga Alliance will accept your request. They'll do the cross verification. They'll check each and everything. And after that, there will be, once your request has been approved, then they'll show that you are a certified trainer from this Advait Yoga School. Okay. Wait for RYS confirmation. Then you have to wait for your confirmation. After that, once the request has been expected, then you need to wait for the confirmation. There you need to pay the fees. There will be an amount you need to pay there. And there are certain procedures from NEFT or IMPS you need to pay. Review our RYS. And after then future, once you are registered, no, you can go and you can review that. You can easily go and you can see whenever you want to see. You can go and you can see yourself there that yes, you are registered from this school, and this is from this duration to this duration. If you are experienced from this school, from this studio, you are experienced teacher from the Advait Yoga, and you from past 4 years you have worked over there. Currently you are working there. So these kind of major informations also, if you want, you can put it into your profile. And if anyone will find Arena or Ujwala, anyone, they'll see what are the status and where you are certified from. Okay. So these are the thing, and it is very important. Once you'll finish your course, no, sir will also tell you to certify you, get yourself registered over there. There are benefit you will be getting out, because see, if you have spent so much over there, energy, time and money, so why not to register yourself over there? Because end of the day, if someone will look for anything or anyone, it gives a good impact on that, because it looks professional there. Publish your profile. Again, you must publish your profile in order to appear in Yoga Alliance dictionary. You will promote, edit your profile. Again, it is the same thing like Facebook or something. You can edit your profile, you can change your profile picture, whatever changes you need to make. For example, if you want to make, when you have registered yourself, you are just a certified trainer. You have taken the certification. After that, you started working anywhere. Now after 1 year or 2 year, you want to mention that as well, that I have worked there, I have experience into experience into that, and you can show that as well. So it is very easily editable. You whatever information you want to delete or write or changes you want to make, you can do it very easily into that, because that will be your permanent profile. Of course, you will be having to access every time you want and anywhere you want. Okay, so these were the basic things for RYT teacher 150. There it is not given for 100 hour or 50 hour, because that is the basic, very normal certification everyone take. There is a basic things you need to learn over there. There's nothing like you can teach from there. Mostly people, if they want to become a yoga teacher or instructor, they go for 200, minimum 200 they go for, right? For 200, 500, how you can register yourself, what are the procedure you can register on Yoga Alliance, what fees, and where it is a overall things that you will be requiring once you are done with the certification, no? And once you will go yourself, register yourself on Yoga Alliance, then you can open your the steps you need to follow. There you can go through the module and then you can do that. Other than that, it's nothing like you need to remember in your mind. It's just for your knowledge, that if you're doing a certification, how you can use it, what knowledge, basic knowledge, you need to keep it in your mind. Okay, so these were the chapter today we have covered. Now tomorrow we'll cover ethical commitment. Okay, ethical commitment, tomorrow we'll cover it, and just after this the next chapter will cover it, and hopefully we'll cover that as well. And after that, I'll tell you tomorrow if we'll cover this. If something is left, then we'll cover that as well. Okay, now at 1 o'clock again you have a practical.
Yeah, I just have a quick question.
Alina, you want
on
to
the
say
credentials. So once we get
Sure.
our certificate from Advait Yoga School, how long
something?
can we wait to then register to the Yoga Alliance website? So does the certificate have any like expiry date, for example? So I can,
No.
for example, if I don't want to register right now, I can register next year, let's say.
Sure.
Or
you just need to do one thing, that once you are, for example, you got certification today, but you wanted to register yourself next year, not this year. So do one thing. Once, as I told you, that you will register yourself, then when you will register yourself, you in your certification, the date will be mentioned that in 2021 Alina has got certified from Advait Yoga. That will change you need to take care of, that in 2022 if you are registering yourself on Advait Yoga, the year will be mentioning there that you are certified, not this year you are certified. There will be changes will be there, nothing as such, and there is no wrong impact you will be getting it there. There will be only year changes that will be reflecting on your profile, and again it is your own profile. So according to the years will be passed, the experience will be showing. From last year was a certified trainer, from 3 years she was. There is nothing like that, and there is no, because once you will get the certificate, no, you'll see there is no date be last expiry date.
Perfect. Yeah, just because sometimes maybe you don't know when you want to start, and
anytime, because you are now for a globally certified teacher and you are for lifetime. It's nothing like only it's for that. You can, after that you can suddenly go for 500 as well. So it's nothing expiry into any of your certification, and you can register yourself on your anytime you want. Okay, there's no time. Any other?
No, that was it for me. Thank you.
Yeah, actually I have a question, like does it make any difference if you're not registering ourselves right now, and if we want to register ourselves in future? I mean, we are not sure in which year we're going to register ourselves. So but you answered very beautifully, so I cleared my question.
Yeah, so that is the same thing. There will be no wrong impact on that. You can easily register yourself whenever you want, after 2 years, 3 years. Only the year when you got certified, that year will reflect that from last in 2019 she was certified, or 20 she was certified, but she is registering in 24. So that is not an issue. It's nothing like everything, because in past 3 years there are many people, if you don't want, also if you don't feel like, don't do it. It's nothing compulsion like that, and there is no, it's normal. It's just a policy they have made it, that you will be showing on the certification globally certified teacher if someone is searching you or something, but it's nothing necessary they have made from Yoga Alliance. It is not a restriction. They have not restrict anything on that. It's free. It's just for your will. If you want to, that's not fine. Okay.
So, one more question. That date and year will be mentioned on our certificate, right?
Yeah, in 2021, she got certification. She has completed in 3 months, or she has done it in 1 month. Everything detail will be there. Whatever required detail is there, that will be in certification. But
I
you,
thought that, yeah. Yeah, actually, I thought that the year will not be mentioned in my certificate. But if this is mentioned, and if I register myself right now or as soon as possible, so does it really make difference if I register myself after 2 3 years?
no,
Because people can think like there is a lot of gap if they are remember
but
anything or not, or they are into practice or not.
that too, that gap, you are a certified. There it is showing that in 2019 Jwala was certified, and though she is registering herself after 2 years or something, it doesn't mean she was not working from last 2 years. There
Okay.
are, she was working, she was running her studio, she was working in another studio. That too, when you will get a clients and they'll ask that why you have registered yourself after 2 years, ma'am. You can tell that you are busy on your stuff or something, you're working. So it's nothing like they will cross question you or they'll ask any experience. No, it's on your will. There's no negative impact. There's no but there are many people who have not registered themselves and they're running a good business. So it's nothing
Yeah,
like
right.
they will be getting. It's just a policy. You need to follow, do it. It's good. If you harm in it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So we are going to over at 1 o'clock. You need to meet again. Just go for it. Have your meal and everything, and let's see you tomorrow. We'll go with the next chapter.
Thank
Okay.
you. See you
See
tomorrow.
you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
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 Yeah.